The so many fish in the sea syndrome and why some men cheat. Now, I've done videos on why men cheat at length, and I think even some of the titles are called Why Men Cheat. But let's talk about this. There are so many fish in the sea. There's generally two places this comes from. It either comes from a place of heartbreak, right? So, hey, I know you're missing your partner right now. I know you're missing this relationship. I know you're seeing all the good things that happen in this relationship. And imagine like two friends having a conversation, right? And your friend is trying to console you, and they probably just need to just be doing some active listening and empathizing and mirroring and validation. Oh, hi, Margot dialogue. But they're also they're a little more proactive, and they're trying to help you see things that you can't see, and they're saying, hey, there's just so many fish in the sea. And so it can come from that place, right? It can come from that place of, hey, I know you love this person, and there is definitely someone else out there for you. There is someone else out there that can help you feel alive again. And this is going to hurt for a while, but I'm going to be here with you, and you're going to be fine. There's that so many fish in the sea. And then there's the other, there are so many fish in the sea. That's the one I want to speak to today. That's the one I want to go a little deeper in, because that is connected to infidelity and cheating and dishonesty. That is connected to a player playing the field. Now, let's talk about that for a moment. I make this clear in so many videos that are related to this, that there is nothing wrong and everything right with wanting to be out there in the world and be sexually promiscuous. Pending it's coming from a healthy, aligned, clear place. Pending you're being honest with yourself and others. Because when you're not, there is a schism in the fabric of relationship. There's no authenticity now. Vulnerability doesn't exist. Now you're playing to win. And if you're wanting to win, someone needs to lose. Now you're attempting to control and contort the situation through lies and manipulation. That's not healthy in relationship dynamics. It doesn't create sustainability. It doesn't create trust. It doesn't create this deep sense of, I see you, I feel you, I understand you. And so there's so many fish in the sea syndrome. It comes from a place of, I want to unpack it a little bit for you. Yes, it comes from a wounded place. And I'm not excusing this behavior. I'm not excusing this individual. Think of the archetype for a moment. That is that player in the field, but doesn't tell anyone that he or she, I'm just speaking with men at the moment, for men, that he is a player in the field. Because so many women are hurt by this, and so many men are caught in this loop that actually don't want to be caught in this loop. They're tired of the lies, they're tired of manipulating, they're tired of hurting others, they're tired of running, they're tired of hiding, they're tired of manipulating, lying, stressing themselves out. And they have this belief, there's so many fish in the sea, I have to have everything. I was one of these men where I had to be with all these different women to validate my worthiness, to validate myself, to actually feel enough. And I thought in my mind that the more women I'm with, the more freedom I have. That's another part of that syndrome of so many fish in the sea. And it's a protection because it's breadth, not depth. It's a protection to not get close because there's a fear of intimacy. Where may the fear of intimacy come from? Again, I don't mean to simplify or reduce these very complex relational dynamics and childhood experiences and trauma to just, this sense of breadth, not depth, and fear of intimacy came from here. And we need a starting point. We need a starting point that's tangible, that we can get our hands on and say, okay, this resonates with me, and I can go there, or no, this doesn't resonate for me and with me, but it's given me something else to think about and go into. And so this fear of intimacy comes from intimacy being dangerous, intimacy not being safe, love, care, affection not being safe, maybe being left to cry for too long, maybe reaching out for dad's love and him having a bad day and just hitting your hand away and saying, I don't have time for this right now, I'm stressed. You wanting the protection of mum when you're feeling alone and scared as a 5-year-old, yet she's not available emotionally or even maybe physically. And so intimacy, closeness becomes scary. You learn very quickly that you can't ask to be close to someone because you're just going to get rejected. And so there's so many fish in the sea syndrome is multiple sexual partners, peak experiences, or the perception of peak experiences, right? And it's breadth, not depth. And what happens when we lack depth? We lack substance, we lack character, we lack an ability to go deeper with people. We lack an ability to see others because we cannot see ourselves. We cannot be vulnerable with others. Therefore, others feel that through their own neuroception, through their own being in the world. And guess what happens then? They can't trust us. They pull back. And now you've got two people wanting to be intimate, yet pulling back because the parts of you that are wounded aren't healed. Take a big deep breath. Fear of intimacy can come from volatile parenting, unreliable, unstable parenting, disorganized parenting, which can form a disorganized attachment style. You don't know if you're safe, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's really, really happening. And we don't really want to get hurt. And so we play that field. Now, if you're coming from a healthy place saying, I want to explore my sexuality and I want to do that with different souls and different people, and I'm very open about that, and you're very clear about what some of your wounding is if you've experienced wounding and trauma, and you're not fully allowing that to take over in intimacy, in sharing yourself so deeply, kudos to you. Are you at that place? Are you at that place where you're really connected to here? Because what does cheating really mean? Let's talk about the dishonest part of having multiple sexual partners and this perception of you're thinking you're being intimate with someone, but are you really? What does cheating really mean? You're hiding. I've been there. You're hiding. You're looking for the peak experience. You want to ride that wave. And you're wanting it so bad. And you're distracting yourself from something. What are you distracting yourself from? It's not for me to answer. It's not for anyone else to answer, or your psychologist or counselor or coach to answer. It's for you to answer. It's for you to look at within yourself. What are you hiding from? What are you running from? What are you not owning within yourself? What are you afraid of? What are you disowning? What are you disgusted by within that you keep distracting yourself with peak experiences? And we're talking about sex now and sexual intimacy. It could be anything. It could be food. It could be drugs. It could be the accumulation of wealth. At what expense? At what loss? At what suffering? So many fish in the sea. So many. What about the one fish in your sea that matters the most? You. How do you see yourself? How do you revere yourself? How do you love yourself? How do you approach yourself? How do you care for yourself? How do you show up to yourself? Because if you can't do that, you're not going to do it for others. And you're going to play the shallow game. You're going to play the shallow game. Yeah? You're not going to have close, intimate relationships or friendships. Sex is not going to need to get more wild, more explosive, for you to feel, for you to actually experience presence, some level of closeness. You're going to need the intensity, but it's going to feel empty. You're going to feel empty because you perceive yourself to be empty. You perceive yourself to be worthless or unworthy or not enough. And so you will pursue tenaciously and stubbornly these experiences that are meaningless to you, ultimately. They're not meaningful, they're empty. They're meaningless, less. Sit with that. Our come from means so much in life. What is your come from when it comes to intimacy?